Welcome back to the PML, guys. Sour team with a very convincing 3-2, immediately ending the game on Frog Isle. 4-1 the entire match. I'm here, but Nick isn't. It's Gore.
No, it is me. I replaced him. Obviously less handsome on this side of the desk now, but it's okay. We're working through it.
Come on. You're fine, Gore. Don't ever sell yourself short like that. We're ready for the next game. No, we are going to be going to Penta versus All Business, and we had talked about it a little bit before. We didn't actually get the chance to say it on camera, but just so you guys know, Ninu is not here this week, and Hayes will be playing in his place.
And that's, I think, actually a really interesting thing to have happen. So Ninu has been one of the premier players that we've seen. Like when he was brought in as a rookie for Virtus Pro in the Premier League at one point, everyone's like, who is this guy?
Right.
And then he showed us who he was. He was a phenomenal blaster. Hayes has always been this player, though, who has been in what was the global series, but in the minor league, as another phenomenal blaster who I think is going to have just as impactful, if not maybe sometimes more impactful games than Ninu. But the issue I think we always saw with Hayes was sometimes consistency. I'm interested to see what he's been able to do. I haven't seen him play in a little while, so I'm excited to have him back in the scene.
I'm interested too. I'm interested to see how the rest of them just actually make sure that they actually can get used to this. The fact that Ninu's not here, the fact that they're going to be able to have to try and obviously work that around with their sub for right now, and I'm interested to see how Penta's going to be able to naturally overcome that. We're going to take a look at the map bans, though, and see what we have in store. We have Splitstone Quarry and Frog Isle for us. The first two bans, Penta's banned, Splitstone Quarry, All Business is banned, Frog Isle, Timber Mill, and Shattered Desert as well. Penta, All Business. That's the four maps it is that will be banned, which is interesting because last set, Timber Mill didn't actually get banned. It was actually picked, which was a little bit weird.
It was a fun first map to go through, but I mean, you know, kind of seeing the theme like Splitstone, Timber Mill, Shattered Desert. They're more outlandish maps when it comes down to it. Timber Mill, I think some teams have specific strats for now, but you're looking at maybe sniper maps, some that are really good for flanks as well, and all of those being taken away is maybe going to actually be a perfect target against Hayes, who is very, very potent on a lot of champions that I think would work there.
Warder's Gate, the first map for this PML set. Once again, Penta versus All Business. I'm interested to see the drafts around here. Now, of course, Willow seems to be a very power pick right now.
Yeah.
After the changes, after the buffs it was that she went through, she seems to be pretty much not necessarily running the show, but we see her a lot more often than normal. Torvald, Makoa are the first two that are banned. In this case, I wouldn't be surprised if, okay, well, Cassie's gone, so I wouldn't be surprised if Willow would be deleted as well, or they might get rid of the Atlas, actually, yeah.
That was actually the biggest thing. The last set, there was a lot of Makoa Atlas that made it through in places where I never thought we would see a lot of Makoa Atlas. And so that does, I think, kind of shift the priority and the pressure back towards Khan, towards Ashe being kind of premier, and Nara, Barrick both going to be available, which changes the dynamic of the game. It is very different when Makoa and Atlas are in the mix versus when you see them disappear.
Right, exactly. Ashe, Barrick locked on the side of All Business. The Willow is picked here. You see her quite often on Warder's Gate. Maldamba as well. He could have a little bit of cover himself in case it is he gets dove, excuse me. He actually has that slither to make sure he can get away in that situation. Willow, Khan, first two locked. Maldamba being covered, but more than likely picked, which means we might see an Inara.
I mean, yeah, she could come through. I like that they're holding on to her, though, because it's taking precedent. Like, what do we need? What's going to be more important right now? And that is going to be your Willow. You want that damage maybe a little early. Question is whether or not it was too early. You do want to take it away from All Business, but at the same time you kind of show, hey, this is what we're doing. So Genos and Leon are going to be locked in over there. So maybe a little shaky. But I like All Business so far.
Yeah, I can understand that as well. Like the staying power of Ashe, the point presence of Barrick, being able to control most of that area, that high ground as well, is really important for Warder's Gate. Around those levitation crystals, pretty much. Genos, Leon, what else can you say? Leon pops Willow right out of the sky if she's hitting her shots, hitting her mark. Luminary buff, it can make anybody on his team's damage really sneaky. The Inara being that point presence. And Tyra with Hunting Party can be a problem for All Business in this case.
A lot of good damage, I think, that is going to come down through because of the Tyra, and I think between her, Willow, and Khan, these tanks, Ashe and Barrick, are going to have a lot of trouble. But Eevee, going to be a little harder to lock down. They have some good contestion for her to be able to kind of shut her down, but I think that's going to be the goal, is how much can you stop Eevee?
Right, exactly. Well, both teams are locked in. Game one, Warder's Gate. Casters, take us away.
Appreciate it, fellas. Getting down into it for game number 1. Penta, all business. Dolson, pretty hair on the cast for you. Gonna be a fun one. Penta, newly resurging. That's the word I'm looking for there. MSI, a little bit of a stagger to start off their MSI split, but over the past few weeks, Knicks, you know, at least last week, started off strong and now maybe taking on a new form.
Definitely have been through a lot in the offseason, losing a ton of players, having to play with some subs week 1. So if they're really able to, you know, find their center here in week 4, speaks to their resilience definitely against a team like All Business, who has also been really heavily on the upswing, obviously adding one of the best to ever do it in Bugsy for a couple of these weeks. I don't believe they had him for weeks 1 or maybe 3. I know he was like, I think he's fixing to get married, so he's kind of mobile at the moment. He's locking stuff down, but if Bugsy's here to stay and here to play for All Business, it's going to be nothing but a boon for them.
Been a very contested minor league so far in the European side of things, and match 1 certainly a good indicator of that. Penta first on the point here, about 12% for them is All Business now. Supplant themselves onward. The high-flying Willow gets plugged away. One more shot from this Eevee from Bugsy himself will do it. Xenos is going to go ahead and get rid of Willow this time around. Slapidopoulos also falls. All Business off to a 2-0 start. Make it 3, soon to be 4. Once Yanara drops down, Ovum back to base you go. And All Business on the point with 60%.
Flawless first fight. Kind of corralled Penta, started whittling them down. We saw, you know, a great perspective from Klosar. He was, and I think he reaped the benefit of it. 2 of the kills going his way. A lot of low HP bars, a lot of people under half. All he needed to do was get in there and hit the abilities. An even, clean 5 deaths for Penta. A small silver lining as they take the back seat to the first offense here. The first ultimate's starting to come up as well. Assert dominance. Toot is dead, but he is heading north of 90%. Ice Storm and Enlightenment are already good to go. All Business are off to the races, my friend.
Klosar has 4 in this engagement, a split quadra. Looks like Bugsy caps it off with 5. Penta haven't even been able to respawn and get out of base before getting shoved right back on in. I mean, once you're hitting those shots, Fawn, a great point. I mean, it's pretty black and white with Leon. I mean, if you're hitting your shots, you're doing damage, and Klosar is certainly doing that here. As All Business round this final corner, pushing into the base of Penta here. 3 streaked out members. Dread Serpent flying up into the high ground here. Klosar out of the fight just for a moment. Ovum drops the Warder's Field there. Slapidopoulos finally getting a kill in this one onto Bugsy. No more Eevee. Assert dominance as well, goes flying up into the high ground. Slapidopoulos with 2. Crossfire could make it 3. An unofficial triple here. Maybe an official triple, an unofficial quadra for the Dayra as Penta hold firm on the defense.
Wow. Some ultimates come out. Penta find some value. Crossfire was used, but shutting down the big kill streak already back to 40%. Overpower's at 99 as well. All Business. Definitely know this one's going to be a contest. This one's going to be a fight. You would hope with some ultimates, Penta would be able to get something going. In the early stages here, it has been All Business all the time. And this is probably the best range they have to fight all offense long. Leon, there's really nobody to contest her. Not to say the lines of sight are overly long. Nice grab here to cancel out the dash. Coriel's doing everything he can, but he just got swatted to the side.
Sad about that one. Dome Shield drops down. Forced back is the Barrack on the left-hand side there. All Business starting to find a little bit of pressure. Hayes on the Willow next to go down. Klosar as well finds himself a double here. Now Penta all forced back. He's done it all. Klosar's gotten 1, 2, 3. Make it 4. And the Leon. That's the tip of the spear. Forces it in.
Is he 10-1 right now? I mean,
must be.
Come on. Come on. 2 things I want to see. I mean, I want to see the KDs, but I also want to see Ash's loadout. Because these knockbacks have been pretty large.
You were 1 off.
He'll do you 1 better, kid. Get him out of here. A little bit of extra knockback, but I guess it maybe is just good. Because part of it is like how you positioned and what trajectory you're sending characters on. So only running 1 point in the extra right-click knockback. But he sent Khan flying. He sent Inara clear across like the play space as well. I mean, these are some big characters. Some big moments here. Toot the knockbacks. And 2nd place in damage overall.
Yeah, wow.
He's on his way to his 2nd ultimate. Meanwhile, Khan has not been able to even find a single overpower. Hadn't even dared to click the button.
Hasn't wanted to use it. This early mid-fight is a good time to start off your team on the right foot. It's just going to do it the old-fashioned way with the left click here. Penta, much better start this time around. A double kill with fast cap, already 58%. Making 3 now for the blue side of things. Ice Storm drops down. Bugsy's forced in, forced out. Going to be soon to fall here. Slapidopoulos is going to do that one in a clean mid-fight. Exact opposite of the first one, and Penta are on the board.
Well, okay. Wasn't even a really overspend of resources either. Still sitting on 3. Frankly, of their more important ultimates to boot. Now the combination will come out. CC of Dread Serpent into the crossfire is good for some damage.
You gotta be careful there. Slap runs into the waiting arms of Toot Toot. Shoulder bashes to safety through time and space. Picks off Choreo here. All business. Well on their way to a good defense as Bugsy finds himself some good shots onto Hayes there. One more shot will do it. Onto this Inara as things start to calm down here. And 2 Titans clashing here seemingly, as the payload finally starts to move backwards for all business.
Defensive point still on the board here for the business gentlemen. They can just hold. We'll go up 3-0. Keep that comeback mechanic enabled, though. That did good work, especially when you consider a front line like Ovum, who is about as fearless as it gets. Overpower is going to be good for a free one. Certainly is. Counts here, though, and because the bodyguard is gone, Little Princess in the back line is looking a much more ripe to be picked.
Klosar is going to take that as a cue to back off. Going to give up some free space here on this payload. Still a choke point, has to go all the way around, a big U shape around this wall right here. As Penta, though, trying to forge back. All business kind of grouped up onto the high ground here. Have some utility to defend with, getting rid of the Willow for Bugsy. He's going to be big. A double kill. Toot Toot gets one as well. It seems like all these kills are just going to cascade one after another. There's no action, then all of a sudden, all of the action. Yet again, Inara, Ovum, last one to go down here. Forced into the ice block is Bugsy, but all business holds strong yet again.
You think Ovum cares about this? He's just happy to boost his damage stats on the Eternal Inara.
This is Grok 2.0. Seismic crash!
Oh, no.
I was ready for that to start off a fight, but no.
Yeah. That's a good start, and I think what we're seeing here is clearly 11-1 after the first round. People are starting to dive Klosar a little bit, put a lot of pressure on him. So I think these fights have to turn into what we saw from him. He's going to soften up the targets, but then he kind of has to exit and make sure he stays alive, something he's not done at the moment, and let everybody else clean up. He can get out some good damage, but it's very clear who they're after, and it's your responsibility to kind of skirt that pressure as long as you can individually.
Toot Toot found himself a double kill. I don't know where he is. Interested to see. I mean, those came up at the exact same time. Might add another one here. Klosar double, Toot Toot double, unbelievable with 1. In all business, they now have 3.
There it is. Get their defensive point. A lot of ultimates still on the board, though, so Penta, I think, more than happy. And Xenos, shout out to Thanos snapping. Young Choreo out of existence. Died a lot, unfortunately. He's had the tough task of getting back on a Klosar. It's worked slightly more so. Only 4-2 in the second round as opposed to 11-1. The runaway freight train that he was in the first round slowed down just a little while. They think it's over, bro. They're going into morale boost. That's kind of my telltale sign of, you know, smoke them if you got them. We're just going to spend these credits and
these credits out of here.
Put this game away.
Oh, he's that double damage clear of anyone on Penta. As a matter of fact, almost everyone on all business is, except for the Genos down there. Xenos doing a little bit more healing than damage dealing. The rest of his team will take up the rest. Happy to do it here. Klosar feeling free and clear on this left-hand side over there as Dome Shield drops down. 2-2 finding the first kill in this one. Ovum gets absolutely melted. Xenos moving forward through time and space might just seal this one up. Overpower did not connect. Choreo misses it just wide through time and space, just along the backside of Maldama there. Bugsy with the double kill. Choreo's the last alive from Penta, and he's just going to drop off the side. All business now, zoning for the win.
Well, a good wall from here is definitely going to lock in Klosar, but he skirts out alive. Last